Welcome to Wisconsin, everybody. Tonight we are hanging out with Capital Swizzle Credit and Lover's Spit.
My name's Luke, Lucas Bieliewski. Live in Wisconsin here, right outside of Madison. Been playing guitar for more than, 2 years.
Really? 2 years?
No, it's more than that.
Oh, okay.
It's like somewhere in between 2 and 50, probably, in there.
Somewhere between 2 and 50 years?
Yeah, somewhere, one of those numbers.
One of those numbers?
Yeah, I don't know which.
So, Capital Swizzle Credit. Why?
Because this is a company, we got to take it seriously like a company. When we're giving loans out to people, we want them to feel confident in who they're banking with, And
nothing inspires confidence like Swizzle.
Yeah, it's a trust thing, really.
All right. Well, I got $20 if you think you can do some swizzling with that.
Oh yeah, it's like those fast payday loans, except it doesn't suck.
So, about how long have you been playing under the moniker Capital Swizzle Credit?
Well, I've been releasing music on Bandcamp and Facebook for, I think it's just hitting the 1 year mark now, but I've been writing for, most of my life. I want to say, well, not most, but, since I was very young, I've been writing and developing this style and seeing what works and what doesn't.
How would you describe your style?
It's eccentric, schizophrenic, I want to say. It's I'm influenced by a lot of math rock bands, and when you're first hearing that, you're like, oh, that's cool, math rock, and then once you get to that point, you're like, okay, I realize why none of them want to be called math rock, because I think that genre particularly covers such a broad it's so vague. It's vaguer than just saying rock almost, because you can take it and it can be jazz,
That's true. I think math rock means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah, so if it's easiest to call it that, I would say, and it has the fundamentals with the complicated music, but I'd say it's the most honest reflection of my thinking, my thought process.
Lovers Spit.
We're Lovers Spit, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. We'll do it in a line.
All right. My name's Christian. I play bass recently.
My name's Steve. I play guitar.
I'm Braden and I play drums.
I'm Jenny and I play the keys.
Cool. Well, it's good to meet you all. Let's start out with maybe a cheesy, cliche interview question, whatever. But Lovers Spit. Why?
Well, okay, so we were coming up with, me and Steve have written music together for like a long time, kind of, and we've gone through a bunch of different band name ideas.
Yeah.
And then there was a period of like 2 or 3 months where we just like really couldn't decide on.
It felt like we had no other conversation other than just like band names. Like, you know, it's like, hi, how you doing? Well, I was thinking about Black Hand or, you know.
Whatever,
like,
you know, and we threw out all these ideas, and then, I don't know why, but like something reminded me of, you know, Lovers Spit.
We were on that conversation too, I think. It had been brought up before where we were like, well, bands have done it before where, you know, you can name your band after a song title, and it's not too much, or like, you know, it's not too little either. But
yeah, I mean, like Radiohead.
Yeah, the Pretty Girls Make Graves, and
True.
like, you know, Scary Kids. You know, it's Captain Jazz.
And then there's like
But
even like
yeah.
there's like bands that name themselves after like TV shows, like you know,
That-
Wonder Years, or like movies, like Say Anything. But it's like I'm not like trying to like draw a comparison between them, but it's just like, you know, it's like I don't really think it's that big of a deal. So we named ourselves after a song, and the words are kind of like evocative of like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of like this like visceral, sexual, fun kind of weird thing.
I think Lovers Spit really stuck with me, like when Braden, because, you know, we had been talking about that. I'm pretty sure Braden came up with it, but like it stuck with me because it was just like, oh, it's like a very guttural, gross pair of words, but also
Yeah.
very
Really
like
passionate.
emotional, and yeah.
It's kind of weird because like when people ask my band name, I'm just like, it's Lovers Spit, and they're like, what? You know, I always get like, what? And it's like, well,
Yeah. I get people doing a lot
but
of
people
these,
think it's cool, I guess.
yeah.
It sticks. It's memorable, I guess.
Yeah.
You won't forget it.
You got that?
Well, that's why.
How'd you all come together?
Okay. There's like a funny story how me and Steve initially came together as friends. Okay, so me and Steve are actually from Ohio. We're from Central Ohio. We're from Knox County. And we lived in, well, he lived in Mount Vernon, and initially I lived in this town called Gambier, and there's Kenyon College in Gambier, and then I eventually lived in Apple Valley, which is like a suburb of Howard, Ohio.
But
So anyway, so we went to high school. We went to high school together. It's you gotta like understand this like situation. It's weird the way the town
knew each
works.
other, and like we had
It's all
met
one big
through
town.
through a very strange series of friends and groups, and then like
My ex-girlfriend, like we broke up, and then she started hanging out with him. And the weird thing is he's like, I'm
that's
you
years
know,
ago.
I know, but this is important. This is important. This is really important. I
Okay.
swear to God,
Okay.
this is important because otherwise we wouldn't have become friends.
That's true.
My ex-girlfriend started hanging out with him to try to make me jealous.
Yeah.
You know, just for like a week or something. And he was like,
I showed
like I'm younger. I was younger than her,
She
and
did
she
one
was
of those
younger.
crazy
He was younger than
things
me.
too, where she was like, "I'm gonna bring this guy to his
A
house,
party.
to a party at his house."
Trying to make me
you know?
jealous.
And so of course, I'm that character.
I was like
you know, and
17.
he's having a party. He's got an ex-girlfriend that shows up with this guy, and I'm that character. We kind of hit it off because you
'Cause
were
we
like
were actually-
downstairs playing
I like
drums,
this guy.
and I was just like, all right, you know, like I kind of picked up a guitar. We became friends. You
Yeah.
know, and that
We just
that,
started jamming, and like Steve came to me with all these riffs. Like he had like out of nowhere, he was like 15 or 16, and he had like a book of riffs essentially. And then we all like me and him constructed them together and like arranged them into these songs.
It should be said too. We met when I was like picking up an instrument, like for the first time.
Yeah, like he
you
didn't
know?
even know how to play
This
any.
guy was already like, you know, he's had musical inspiration. His father, you're like, it's you
Yeah.
know, you're great.
Yeah,
he
my
was
dad.
great when I met him.
Dad, my sister,
and then
my
I
mom,
met
my
this
whole
guy when I
family's
was picking
musical.
stuff up. But you know, we formed a band essentially. You know, back then years ago, and we did a lot of stuff together. And then, you know, time went by. I think we graduated high school, you know, like, and we both moved a couple different places. he was living here for a few years, and then I just kind of needed a place to like, you know, get out of Ohio to, and I had come here before, and I was like, well, I had played music with Braden before, so I came here. And
got back together, started writing songs again, and then like it's like we had to like figure out Madison and everything.
It took us a minute to like get the right crowd around too.
Yeah, it's like we made friends, you know, and it's like being strangers in Madison, but like we made friends quickly. In the Madison scene, I believe like there's a lot going on. There's a lot more than people realize, and you know there are a lot of really amazing bands, and it's like I want to be a part of that, and I want to help, you know, and I want to just. Make people dance.
So your next song is the only one that you sang on.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of the song?
Sandpaper Mammoth.
I think this one was my favorite out of the ones that you played. So, what is the story behind Sandpaper Mammoth?
Sandpaper Mammoth, the story of the song, and I butchered it today, man. Like, oh god. If you want to hear a good one, just listen to the recording, then you can get the whole story behind it and quality or whatever. But
I don't know. I thought it sounded pretty good the way you played it. So.
Well, it's there was a conquistador, and he sees the Sandpaper Mammoth, and the conquistador is kind of a dick, so he wants to kill the Sandpaper Mammoth. And his motivation behind doing that was he looked like his stepbrother, Jonathan. So, and he took his shirt too, the Sandpaper Mammoth did. So he killed him, and lo and behold, we find out that the Sandpaper Mammoth has the receipt to the shirt. So the moral, I don't know. I'm yet to discover. CPU, that was a similar situation, and I like doing that a lot with music, is writing stories behind it. And it actually, a lot of my music, like I said with the Best Pie, it ends up being lyrics first and then adding music to it. And that song, it was I think it was about like your computer got a virus or something, and then it turned into an octopus and ate the guy, and he was like, oh shit, I didn't back up the hard drive and my computer's dead. So
I know that feeling.
yeah. That's the worst.
It is. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Thank God for these MacBook Pros that don't have working SD drives.
Yeah. Right? Oh, man.
One thing that I like to do, like I said before, is matching the music to how you would speak it. Like as if it was natural talking, or like a spastic person talking, I guess. Because, you know, you speed up and slow down and you have these irregular rhythms of speaking. So I think that's kind of an interesting way of approaching music too.
That is interesting. I haven't ever heard anybody say that before. But yeah, it's neat. Whatever works. You should try to write a song based on William Shatner's speech patterns. That one would.
Oh, that'd be all over the place.
So have you two like played in the Madison scene at all, or is this your first Madison band?
He's been in Madison bands before, and this is essentially my first Madison band.
Yeah, I played with Aaron and Greg. I was in the Boneyard.
How do you feel about the Madison scene as compared to Ohio?
See, I feel like
It's a tough question to actually.
for me, it's like a recent memory, because before I moved here, I was in Columbus, Ohio, and I was living there, and I was playing with a good friend of mine, and we had a band that went by a couple different versions, and we went by a million different names, but I got to know the Columbus scene a bit, and it is great, and you're right, it is a tough comparison, but the Madison scene I feel like is much more, in a sense, approachable, and it's actually, and this surprised me when I moved here, is Madison is smaller than Columbus.
Well,
But,
that's what really surprised me
you know,
too. I thought Madison was going to be a really, really big city. When it came here, it was kind of like a big little city, and
Yeah.
I knew that Madison has a big history for like good local music and art and just everything.
Yeah.
But like I felt like there was a period where there was kind of like a just lull in activity, okay, and that everybody goes through that. But in Columbus, when I left it, I was playing with a lot of people, and I knew a lot of really talented people, and I was going to a lot of great shows. And there's 4 or 5 technically major cities in Ohio, where in this state there's like lesser, and Madison's a smaller town, but I feel like there's just as many people that like love music and love seeing live music and are musicians or artists and things. But it's also like a transient town. It's a college town. People are busy, and it's a smaller, more concentrated college version where most of the activities going on. Whereas Columbus is more geographically spread out.
and in a sense,
It's very
too,
sprawling.
Columbus is, it's, even though it's larger and more sprawling, they're all, I feel like Madison has been much more receptive to our type of music.
And that's the thing,
where Columbus is very, it has a Columbus sound if it comes out of Columbus, in a sense, I think is a good and polite way to put it.
There's some great bands in Columbus right now.
In Madison, you can be anything, and you can get a lot of support from.
Yeah, and that's the
great
thing. Like, I
people.
really feel like I get
You know,
more support in this town.
it's-
Like, there are people that are like, "Yes, I get what you're doing."